What's up, guys? Welcome to sunny Hollywood, California. Today's video is all about the mistake that I see a lot of high-performing individuals make when they associate their tangible achievements, their worldly achievements, to their self-worth. So let me break it down for you guys a little bit. The biggest trait, or one of the most through-line traits for these high-performing individuals, is that they have managed to discipline themselves in a certain domain. So they've managed to do some of the hard things that are necessary in order to achieve a great measure of success. They've managed to work very hard, they've managed to be disciplined, they've managed to solve a lot of problems, and because they've managed to do all these things, they have a strong sense of accomplishment and pride that's associated with this accomplishment, right? So they have a Lamborghini, they have $10 million, they have a certain sense of pride and accomplishment that is so tied to what they've done. Now, what happens to these individuals is that because they've been able to achieve this certain level of success, is that they become dependent on this level of success. And when they enter into environments where there are other individuals with the same level of success or a greater level of success than them, or this other individual is able to exhibit higher status behaviors than this already rich and successful person, this rich and successful person feels diminished. Let me give you guys an example. So let's say, you're going to a networking event. Every single person at that networking event has $100 million. Every single person at the networking event has a certain number of followers. Everyone there is famous, successful, connected, etc. Let's say everybody also is good looking, right? So there's nothing that you have that's a leg up objectively over these individuals. The mistake that you might be making is that in environments where you feel superior, you feel good. But in environments when you don't feel superior, you feel bad. And then when you enter an environment where you're no longer superior, you have nothing special about you. There's nothing that serves as a differentiating factor for you. You can't stand out. Now, what is interesting is that you will encounter certain individuals, as a high status individual, you will encounter certain individuals, and it's not the most common thing, but you will encounter people that are less successful than you, that have less money than you, that have less status, followers, fame, network, recognition, whatever it is that you predicate your status upon, you predicate your worth upon. You'll meet somebody that has less than everything than you, is lower on the totem pole objectively than you in all these areas, and yet this person carries themselves like a super high status individual. And I'll tell you why this is so important, and I'll tell you what this person is doing. What this person has managed to do is that they've managed to completely dissociate their own worth from their worldly achievements. So they don't predicate how happy they feel, how good they feel, based on anything external. And honestly, they don't predicate, if this person is really high level, they don't predicate their worth on anything. They don't predicate their worth on their looks. They don't predicate their worth on, how much love they've gotten from a girlfriend or a boyfriend or the family or anything like that. They feel good just because they feel good. And I understand to some degree if you're hearing this where it's like that's kind of ridiculous or that's an ideal that, can't really be achieved. And I will say this, it's not something that can be achieved easily, but it's absolutely something that can be achieved. Quick interruption, guys. If you're a 7, 8, or 9-figure entrepreneur and you're looking to significantly upskill your communication skills, why don't you click on the link below, check out my site, check out what I have to offer, and if you feel like it's a fit for you, let's book a call together and let's talk. This is for individuals that are looking to take a serious jump when it comes to their skill set in communication. You have to understand this is not a low-ticket service, this is not a low-ticket offering, but if you're someone that's serious and you want to 10x your revenue, you want to 10x your social results, you want to 10x your presence, you want to 10x all areas of your life, you have to understand the biggest thing that you can work on is going to be your communication skill set. So if you want to take your communication skill set to an elite level, click on the link below. Let's see if you're qualified and let's talk. Now, when you're in a social environment where you are predicating all of your worth on your worldly achievements, and then you have an individual that's not predicating their worth on any of their achievements, their worth is not predicated on anything, what that creates is a difference between the way you two interact in that environment. The person that, you associating your worth to everything, it's always a leverage game that you're playing with people. You're playing the status game constantly, where you're meeting somebody that's higher status than you feel diminished, you kind of start trying to appeal to this person, try to get validated by this person. The other guy, or the other person, right, guy, girl, whatever, let me just pause for a second, there's a garbage truck driving by. Like I said, chaotic day in Hollywood, California, as always. But the other guy, because he's so constant in his status and he's not relying upon external validation, he's not relying upon anybody else to feel any differently, he's in that same environment and he's interacting with very high status people. He's interacting with famous billionaires, whatever it might be, and he doesn't feel any different, or she doesn't feel any different, because again, it's not predicated upon anything. There's none of this leverage game, value games, nothing like that. It's just this constancy. And I'll tell you why this will be very fruitful for you in your endeavors if you're looking to 10x in your life. Again, if you're watching this, my assumption is that you're already somebody that's decently worldly successful, doing 7, 8, 9 figures a year. You're a successful individual. I'll tell you why this constancy is so important. When you're constantly playing this leverage game and this kind of comparison game, this external validation game, you will experience dips in your life irrespective of who you are. You'll experience dips in your business. If you're famous, you'll experience dips in your fame. If you are a political, prominent in the political sphere, you will, experience dips in your power. When you experience these dips, what you need to do is that you need to have a level of emotional consistency and mental consistency so that you're able to pull yourself out of these dips and then achieve and kind of rise to a higher level than you were before. But if you're so affected by your external environment and there's nothing anchoring you to a happy and peaceful state, if you're constantly relying upon your external results, it's going to be very difficult for you to sustain a great measure of success and also go on to achieve greater measures of success. This is also my assumption. You're somebody that's achieved a decent level of success, so I'm guessing that you have some level of emotional consistency. Maybe not a very high degree of emotional consistency, but you have figured out, how do I show up day after day after day? So there's something that you have figured out. I don't want to discredit that. But what I will say is that in order to ascend to the next level, in order to be able to navigate very high status environments, even higher status environments than you're used to, in order to be able to navigate high stakes negotiations, in order to be able to navigate social situations in which there's somebody that you're very attracted to, or there's somebody around you in which you're hoping to network with, you have to understand that you cannot allow your value, your self-worth to be relative, to be based on anything, to be predicated on anything. The guy or the girl that is just this fun-loving individual that feels full of self-love and full of status, if you want to call it, even though they have nothing going for themselves, are the kind of people that also stand out in these very high status environments. Because I'll tell you this also, when you're in these environments, everyone is playing the fucking leverage game. Every fucking person is playing the leverage game. Most of the time, if you're dealing with unevolved individuals. Everyone's paying the power, status, ego, leverage, look at me, money, flexing game. Everyone's playing that same game. So the way that you differentiate, the way that you stand out, the way that you get noticed, the way that you become the difference in that environment is that you don't play the same game. You have to refuse to play the same game in almost every situation if you want to stand out. If the sheep are all going one way, you go the other way. And it's not that every single person is going to resonate with the direction in which you've gone, but the people that you probably want to connect with, the people that are probably going to be the most ideal people for you to network with and to link with, are going to be the individuals that will resonate to your lack of playing the ego leverage status game. I hope this makes sense, guys. Drop a comment if you have any questions. I can address them in future videos, but this has been fun. I'll see you guys soon.